Okay, hello everyone. My name is Claire Jordan. I am the Managing Director of AEIDL, the European Association for Innovation in Local Development. And it is my honor today to welcome you all to this very special event. So this meeting is hosted by ELIF, the European Local Innovation Forum, which was created by AEIDL in 2022. The objectives of ELIF are aligned with AEIDL's vision and mission, its main purpose being to revitalize community-led innovation across Europe. What we believe is that innovation driven and implemented by local communities is really essential to boost the transformative changes that Europe needs. And what ELIF aims to do, more specifically, is to trigger discussions about the importance of community-led innovation, to debate how community-led innovation is being supported in Europe, to raise awareness and also build a common understanding of what is local innovation and what is its added value for local actors, and finally to co-design the focus of the ELIF thematic communities. So at the moment, ELIF has two thematic communities, one on territorial development and one on social innovation, and more specifically, community-led social innovation, CLSI. We'll come to that in a minute. Today's workshop is organized by the CLSI thematic community of ELIF, and I would like to present the main experts who animate this community on AEIDL's side, our two coordinators, Armelle Ledan and Patricia Martinez, who are the two co-organizers of today's event. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank Julie de Galard, who has been our in-house ELIF coordinator since the launch of ELIF, as well as Julen Lituriondo, who is in charge of coordinating ELIF's communication. So ELIF is still a relatively new adventure for AEIDL, and it would not exist without you, who chose to follow ELIF's activities and to participate in today's event. So I would like to say a very big thank you to everyone present today for having joined us in this adventure. Now, to introduce a little bit more this CLSI thematic community of AEIDL, its objective is to explore a specific dimension of social innovations, namely those that are initiated and or led by local communities. So this year, our colleagues have launched a call targeting projects that recognize themselves as CLSI projects. And we analyzed all the applications received according to our in-house methodology for identifying CLSI initiatives. And so in today's event, you will hear directly from each of the 7 initiatives which passed the test. In other words, the ones that our experts have formally evaluated as being true CLSI initiatives. So now to sum up, I would say that we really have 3 main purposes today. One is to present these inspiring initiatives, to give them the visibility that they deserve, of course, but also to showcase specific innovative practices. The second objective is to have a discussion about the CLSI approach itself. What is its added value? What are the specific challenges it can face, etc. And finally, the last one is to help this emerging community of CLSI actors in the creation of a dedicated network. So really our ambition today is that this event will mark the launch of this brand new EU-level CLSI network, very much as part of a co-creation process with you, the participants, and the representatives of the 7 CLSI projects. And this means that it will be up to you today to really express why you would be interested in such a network at European level, and to decide together where we would like to take such a network in the future. On that note, I'm happy to give the floor to our esteemed colleague, Patricia Martinez, who is also our moderator for this event, and who will talk you through the detailed program of today's workshop. Thank you.
Thank you, Claire. Thank you very much for this kind introduction. So as you said, I'm one of the members of this new CLSI, this acronym that you are going to hear a lot today. But who else is today with us, slowly joining in the morning, a bit above 52 people now. We will have 11 speakers that have prepared some knowledgeable things to share with all of us. We had a registration of 150 people from 30 countries, or for more than 30 countries, to attend this very first CLSI event, bringing together actors from many different sectors, notably civil society organizations, NGOs, a lot of local action groups, but also public authorities at a different level, local, regional, national, international, so representatives of different networks that we can see already connected, and researchers. So it's really a multi-stakeholder representation today. For the program that we have prepared, quite condensed, quite rich, I hope that we keep it in time. Shortly after me, I will give the floor to our senior expert in social innovation, Armelle Ledan, who will conceptualize the concepts that we are speaking today about. Then we will be presenting you what was this call, what was Clary already highlighted the purposes, but what was it about? Then we will, most importantly, hear from the projects that have been selected through this call and some very concrete elements of CLSI, the social needs, the innovative solution, and how the community was involved in those. After a short break, we will go deeper into two key elements of CLSI. This is impact evaluation and scalability. Not too easy, not an easy discussion, but important to have. And then we will have a short panel debate with three distinguished experts on social innovation and community-led local development: Bruno Di Mena from the OECD, Gorka Espiau from the director of the Aguirre Hendriks Center, and Michelle Lent, who is a member of AEIDL board and former European Commission officer. To tell you that, as you might have noticed, the session is being recorded for communication purposes. We will make available all the presentations that you are going to see today on our website, but you will receive an email after today's event when this is available, so you don't have to worry about being checking on the website repeatedly. Before closing this very first intro from my side, to tell you that we want to hear from you during today's event, so you have the chat. Please use it. You can ask your questions, comments during the different interventions. We will record this. If we'll have some Q&A, if there is not enough time during the Q&A to address everything, we will make sure to go back to you via email. And what we want to ask you now is to connect with us in the slide, but just to connect, not reply yet, please. I will explain you why. You can connect either scanning the QR code that you see, I hope, in the screen. You might also have, or you will have in a minute, the link on the chat, or you browse the Slido and then you add the code 829. As I said, please have a look at the questions. They are going to be open throughout the event. But we're asking you not to reply yet. Why? Because we are going to be discussing what is our understanding of CLSI, what has been the projects selected about, etc. And with that knowledge in mind, then we will remind you to go back to the Slido and to give us your feedback on what do you think that the function of this newborn CLSI network can be about. We're proposing you some things that we're thinking to organize for next year, but we want to get to know what you think about and if you have other questions. Okay, with that little introduction and without further ado, I'm going to introduce now my colleague and senior expert on social innovation, Armelle Ledan, who has been co-organizing this session today, and she's going to introduce us the concept of social innovation and community-led social innovation, CLSI, and the potential to address critical societal challenges. So good morning, Armelle. We can now see you, main screen.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
I'm just trying to share, which is what I was, yes, it's working.
Yes, it's fine. Yes.
So yes, good morning, everybody. Welcome. Really happy to have you all here. It's actually, we're innovating today because we are kickstarting something new, trying to at least, which is a new network at EU level on, as Claire said, a very specific dimension of social innovation. So this is due to the DNA of AEIDL, which is very connected to local development. And among the actors that initiate social innovation initiatives and projects, local communities are not that visible, not that valued. And we wanted to offer a space to debate, exchange, and give a bit more visibility to this very interesting dimension. So what we want today is really to share and discuss with you this approach, because it's not that we know what CLSI is. We are trying to define, we're trying to share with you our approach, and I'm going to try to explain to you the thinking that we have behind to arrive to this CLSI concept. And everything starts with social innovation, of course. But it doesn't work. Yes. So the first thing and the most important thing probably is to make the difference between the different forms of innovations. In the family, social innovation is the last born, and it's different from the other types of innovation. It's important for you because we're saying from the beginning that you have to recognize yourself. Here it's kind of an adhesion to the concept. So social innovation is different due to one key thing, the goal, the aim. Social innovation is actually about creating positive social change. And all the words are super important. Opposite to the other types of innovations, which are also very fine, but not aiming at the same objectives: economic performance and growth for economic innovation, internal processes and organizational performance, or technical problems and capacity for technical innovation. So that's really important when you try to see if what you're doing is socially innovative. But they all have in common too: be variable in intensity, from incremental, small improvements, to radical, disruptive innovation, rare, as you can imagine. And innovation is also relative, and it's a key element that also you have to take into consideration. Relative in time and space, which means what is new in a country, in a region, can be well established elsewhere. And it's really this relativity that counts. It can also be very well known and well established in a sector, but being new, by being applied to another sector. I have tons of examples, but I would not go too far into this. And it can also be new because you apply it to a new target group. So do remember that innovation is something relative, and when you claim being innovative, you kind of explain why, in your context, this is something new. Now, in a nutshell, again, social innovation has several definitions, and we're not going to enter into this debate today because that's not the point. But generally, we all agree about a certain number of key characteristics, and everything starts with unsatisfied social needs, complex social challenges, and all the needs that result from that are either not met at all or very badly satisfied by existing solutions. If all the needs are covered, all the social needs related to our living conditions and working conditions, if they're all solved, there's no point. We don't innovate just for the sake of innovating. So that's the very, very root and the rationale behind social innovation. Then from these needs, of course, we social innovators or projects develop and implement new solutions that can take the form, and you will see that in the project of products, services, and models. They always do it in a collaborative way. You don't innovate alone, as I often say. And a key element, again, is to involve the end users. With best intention, you can develop a solution that you think is really good, but if you don't involve the people concerned that know their needs better than you, you might miss the point. To do what? To deliver better social outcomes. If you had no solution, of course, you're going to deliver something new, but you can compare with previous similar outcomes. So there's something like in the positive social change, here it's the positive word that is important. So to demonstrate you're better, you need to evaluate, you need to assess what you're doing. So what you do is that you set all the conditions at the beginning to allow you to test and evaluate what you're doing. Like in science, when you make a pilot on an experience, which is quite difficult in all the social fields generally, but in social innovation. And you're starting something new with high risk or medium risk, and you don't know if it's going to work. That's really something you assume from the beginning. So you start small with pilots, you test it, but you know that if your solution is working well, you intend to expand the benefits at the level of the needs of all the people who are in need. You try a pilot with 100 of people, but let's say that there are thousands of migrants waiting for the same solution, or other regions who are interested or concerned facing similar challenges. So that's the famous spiral, which is not new, from Nesta and of Milgan, which shows you that you start small and you go big. To make it really short, I said in a nutshell, so I'm doing it rapidly. I tend to speak too much about social innovation. Now, to put a bit of flesh on the bones, because it's not that easy to distinguish what is social innovation, what is not, etc. I give you some examples. We said what makes the difference is to create really positive social change, and that must be the primary goal. So everybody knows about Wikipedia. It's using tech, definitely, but the primary goal was really access to knowledge, empowering individuals across the globe with reliable information and in an inclusive way. So the primary goal was really not to make benefits or to create a tech option or a tech app, but really to be social. Other examples, tons of them, are not new, fair trade, paid holidays even. That shows you that something can be new at some stage, not new anymore later. Minimum wage, much more recent. Many pilots were tested in Europe very recently, funded by ESF. If you want more example, I can invite you to connect to the Social Innovation Match database, which is a EU-level database gathering, I think it's nearly 200 now, social innovation cases. You can also upload your cases there. And just to give you other examples from the European Social Innovation Competition, for instance, of the kind of topics behind social innovation initiatives: housing, affordable housing, energy poverty, fashion, plastic waste. So, I mean, there are loads of things. Now, on the contrary, some innovations create some social impact, but there are side effects. They're indirect. For instance, carpooling apps. Okay, the primary goal is not to have a social impact. It can be maybe at the same level, but not even. It's really normally to create a collaborative aspect. The second one, which is even more visible, is what we all have, our smartphones. Yes, it is definitely creating social positive impacts by allowing everybody to connect to, especially people in remote areas, vulnerable people, aged people, to social services, medical services, family, etc. It is definitely a social service, but the primary aim was not that. It was really to drive profit for tech companies and to create a new communication tool. So I'm not saying it's black and white. It's not that easy. You have many projects that actually are really smart and combine the different objectives, social, environmental, and economical. In circular economy, you find them a lot. And as long as the social impact is at the same level as the others, that's great, because the social and societal challenges are really complex today, and it's actually much smarter to try to tackle them all at the same time. To end, I'm checking the time because yes, that's fine. So to give you an example and to explain to you how it works. So we have these examples of social challenges that we all face across Europe. I'm not going to read them. You can see them, from poverty to migration, including green and digital transition, and many others. I said that it's collaborative. So you've got the famous triple helix here, with generally the 4 categories of stakeholders that work together. 2, first step, identify and assess the unsatisfied social needs, scope them. What is the volume? What's the profile of the target, the territory, the nature of the service, or the nature of the needs? Then you design and you implement the innovative solutions, different forms and combined. You can combine the service, product, model, etc. You will see that in the projects. And these actors benefit from positive social change. That's the kind of process. It's not linear, never. So it's a bit iterative. You try and test, you go back, you adjust, you abandon sometimes. And really important, it's always produced collaboratively for and with end users, which is a tricky thing, really, because some are hard to reach, the vulnerable population in particular. So there are very interesting projects that can show you their methodology. Now that we went through social innovation very quickly, what we were trying to do is to analyze not social innovations that are a bit top down, I would say, led by public authorities, fair enough, very good, or by social entrepreneurs, very common in the social innovation field. And we received some proposals with very good projects, actually, led by social innovators, social entrepreneurs. What was lacking was really this CL, community-led and local community. So everything is the same, apart from that. Local community. And we are proposing to you, because we tried to analyze and go through the literature and practice to see how it's defined. Community itself, multitude of definitions, an area, geographical area, etc. Let's go to local community. Again, many definitions that vary depending on the context and the organization. Very, very used at international level by many international organizations, the UN, the World Bank, etc. So we give you as examples, a couple of definitions from, let's say, big international and EU level organizations, from ILO, UNDP, the European Union. And from all this, with our experience, we tried to identify the key characteristics or the main features of a local community, which to us, and really it's subjective, or it's an attempt at least, that we are sharing with you to discuss. These are 4 or 5 points that define for us a local community, and hence a community-led social innovation, that we used to select the projects that we present. Now they are wonderful approaches and results to solve complex challenges. Geographical proximity, definitely, at local level, not national, not even regional. Shared interests, like in a COP. Interaction, people are not isolated, they really collaborate. and a common identity or a sense of belonging that really unify and create something that makes these people want to collaborate together and make their lives a bit better or a lot better. So this is our definition of community-led social innovation. You can see that the focus is really on the local community involvement and empowerment, and that the needs are identified by the local community itself. This is very ideal because often it starts from another partner, but at least the local community must be fully engaged and involved during all the process, from the needs assessment to the implementation and evaluation. Not just informed, not consulted, really involved, engaged, and contributing. And I will finish with, to us, the essence of an authentic, if we can say that, there's no label. Community-led social innovation is that it's from the local community and for the local community, which is benefiting from the results of this innovative solution. I hope I was not too quick and that I gave you the main idea and our kind of definition of community-led social innovation. We warmly invite you to connect, to go back to us after, to share your ideas, your comments and suggestions. And I will now give back the floor to Patricia. Unless you have questions. Sorry.
Thank you, Armelle. There are no questions so far in the chat. If anybody else wish to raise their hand and to share any comment, any view on this. We have yes, now we have a couple of them in the chat. And for instance, Laura Almayones, if you would like to unmute yourself and to say that you are saying that you work in a technological center and you would like to focus more on social impact. And what minimum elements should technological and social innovation have from your experience?
Yes, well, thank you for the talk. Yeah, I'm very interested on this intersection because you have said that social innovation is different from technological innovation, but we are working mainly on this intersection of both. So I would like you to explain from your experience, what do you think that are the minimum elements that these two should share if they have to work together, like in our case, for example?
Okay. I will try to start answering to you, at least because the answer could be long. But for instance, even in the project examples you will hear about, you will see that technology is used as a tool. That's easy for platform, etc. On one platform, I can see Eric is smiling because that's the case of his project. But you also have other options. It's not only a tool or a mean. If it's at the same level, I was recently visiting a living lab in Torino, where they test actually very tech and high-tech options and innovative ones on slow mobility, for instance, which is a key thing in this city. And they incorporate the social dimension while they are designing the elements. So don't oppose them. That's the first key message. They are not opposed at all. It is just that if you're working on tech, to be brief, try to see at the same level and at the same time what are the social effects of your tech, involve different stakeholders to discuss with them. I don't know who are the end users of your apps or solutions, but it's really to de-zoom from tech to resume on both tech and social at the same time. It's a bit brief, but we can carry on bilaterally after the event if you wish. I hope it was a bit of an answer.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, Armelle. Perhaps we can quickly take the The last
The
question,
second
because
one.
I think it's very important. We are about time, but Leonid Hinojosa, you were something that has been also an internal debate. What about multicultural local communities? So the features that you were presented, Armelle, with the sense of belonging, all this appurtenance, are those features the departure point that bring them together in the first place, or it's a result of the social innovation? Here we're speaking about community-led social innovation. So what we understand about a community is normally a bit of a debate, and our societies are becoming more and more multicultural. So how do you understand, I also have my views, how do you understand this aspect with the elements that you were mentioning for being community-led social innovation?
I would like to invite Leonid, not sure I pronounced your name correctly, sorry.
You did.
To
Thank you.
probably, okay, hello, good morning. Thanks for the
Good morning.
question. Can you elaborate a little bit on what you mean by multicultural local communities so that do you have something precise in mind?
Yeah. Well, more and more, especially in urban areas, the local community is composed by a population with different background, different interests then, not only culturally, but also, historically and so on. And those shared interests then are different, and they also influence differently, the different features that you said, which are the main, to classify something like a social innovation. So I wonder if precisely the social innovation is in that type of context, something that brings the possibility of, combining those shared interests, of producing something, given that it is a multicultural population, local community, and so on. So, yeah, I would like your view on that.
Yeah, I'm not going to be Norman, but I could answer it can be both. If you're in an urban area, an urban neighborhood that is characterized by multiculturality, it can be the objective of your project to try to better address those different needs across the different target groups. And I understand well what you're talking about. So it can be the root of your project, the objective of your project, or you're trying to create something which is different. I don't know, I would say something about mobility, to take the same example. Well, you know that the people concerned or in need of this solution are very different, as you were saying, culturally, economically, socially, etc., etc. So your point is not to offer, is not to better, to have, how would I say, more cohesion among the different groups, but your option is to create a solution that is accessible to as many people as possible. Hence, at that moment, you are going to, sorry, when you identify the needs, you will have to dive into the details of the different target groups and try to adapt your solutions in a modular way to these different target groups. So it can be the result of your project because you're trying to really reinforce the cohesion of this multi-local community, or it can be something that you have to integrate when you design your solution so that it is increasing benefits for everybody and having a positive impact on everybody.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you
Welcome.
both. You have also a reply to that perhaps is interesting for you, Leonid, from Mario, that they work in intercultural research to engage multiple populations. So perhaps that's also something that you want to follow up and to see if there is any possible synergies or cooperation there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're
Thank
going
you.
to be a bit short of time, but just to give you a hint or an insight, what is done when you have multiple population like that, in the recent social innovations that I saw that are really efficient and interesting, is that to avoid ghettoization and stigmatization, services are open to everybody. in public spaces, for instance, and things like that. So I've got examples, and I'll be happy to share.
Thank you for that note, Armelle. Okay, so moving from now that I think we have perhaps a common or not understanding on social innovation, and within that family, the CLSI, we wanted to share for those of you that don't know what was the work behind this call for inspiring practices and project in CLSI and what we launched. So why a call for this when we were doing our let's say internal research on how we could unlock the potential of CLSI, we thought that to launch a call that would allow those that self-identified with what we were proposing, the concept, the methodology, just to say, okay, yes, I will apply. I consider myself CLSI to take this step forward and to connect with us, and with that to connect with others. So therefore we launched it. We thought it would be also give us the possibility to raise awareness of what is the added value that we see of this CLSI to address societal challenges, as Armelle was saying, to increase some understanding and some recognition with the work around the call. To, of course, identify others, share and learn from the different experiences that are happening across Europe, that are responding to very diverse social needs that are new or not new or emerging, and that they are doing it through this CLSI methodology. And we thought thus, as a culmination of this, to build this collaborative network that would enable all of us to connect all these local actors, this community, facilitate knowledge exchange, and with this knowledge exchange to build capacities to support scale up, to support transferability of successful experiences that have been tested across Europe, and thanks to this exchange with peers, hopefully also to attract potential partners and to explore the possibility of applying for funding to carry out new initiatives, perhaps. So we launched the call. It was a process that is available on our website, and it follows a bit, let's say, the process that one can see in many EU applications. So the call involves a submission form online with these key elements, of a CLSI initiative, we call it. So what is the analysis of the local community, the population characteristics, what are the different stakeholders that are involved, what is the role at the different stages from the need assessment to design, implementation, and evaluation, how they are taking a part of it. What were the social challenge, the global picture, but also the specific unmet social needs for these local communities? What is the nature, the type, the sector, the territory that is affected by those needs? Very importantly, what was the solution, the innovative solution developed to tackle these challenges, whether it was a new service, product, and way of cooperating, a combination of those. And a bit of a challenge part in this admission, how this social innovation is innovative compared to existing ones. So what are the evidence that this is better? What were the results achieved, and what was the evaluation followed to assess those results? What were the plans for the growth, the expansion of the social innovation results, so what we call scaling up, transfer, mainstreaming? As Armelle said, we test in a small environment, and then we aim at growing this. So what are the plans for this? We will speak about this later in the morning. And what were the funding, the sources used to fund the CLSI projects? We received this submission form with those 7 elements, and we evaluate them upon 4 main criteria that you can see. So all the proposals evaluated were done by at least 2 experts on social innovation in AEIDL independently. So the final result were the average maximum score of 100 points with a threshold to be considered admissible of 65. This is a common practice in this kind of processes. And what we wanted to mention here, to highlight, is that this criteria corresponds again to our understanding, our interpretation of this concept of CLSI. And we did it because we considered that if we wanted to launch this newborn network, we have to have some sort of consistency, some content, some criteria to do it. And also to highlight that this that the selection, the assessment that has been done does not pose a concrete judgment on the overall project's quality or the relevance, but only the concrete relevance for these CLSI criteria. So basically those that we saw that did not pass the threshold, and I will present results in a minute. Basically they were, we saw that they were social innovation initiatives, but they were lacking information on the concrete local community engagement. So they created or led by community, that is the key aspect to be CLSI and not social innovation. So therefore there was not a judgment on the project itself. We want to highlight this because we value a lot of the time that people took to reply to this, which was not funded projects, but a self-fund call. And that we did this to analyze the concrete criteria of CLSI. So we received 10 full admissible applications, which again, saying that there was no financial contribution available for it. We think that this highlights the interest in the field. We received very diverse applications, different type of organization applying, from local mainly, but also more international, from public to private. We have the application for 8 countries in the EU. For this very first time that we were testing it, we decided to focus on the EU area, without closing the door to perhaps do something different in the future, but it was a very first test. The social needs identified by these projects, again, very diverse, from rural depopulation, social exclusion, lack of tracks in public administrations, lack of employment opportunities for certain groups, and also a variety of social innovations developed to tackle those challenges, for cultural programs, integrated community services, hubs to foster social innovation in rural areas, or elderly-focused empowerment programs. This is concretely for the call. I don't know if we have any comment or question that is relevant for the call. I see that there is some exchanges going on for examples. Excellent. In any case, to say that for the call, you have all the information available on the website, and we will welcome your feedback on this, the usefulness, perhaps the idea of launching it again or not. We might fine-tune. And what I think is more important is to get to know which projects have been selected. So which community-led social innovation projects apply to this, submit a marvelous application form that was thoroughly assessed and that fulfill all these elements, so that we will learn from it. We have asked these 6 projects to, yes, Armelle?
Patricia?
Yes.
Yes, because there is one question, so we're a bit short in time, but we also want this event to be interactive. So the question is from Mario. I will not pronounce your name, it's too long and I would probably not do it properly. Asking to what level during the project you identified culture-related blocks. Mario, could you explain what you mean, please? No worries. Okay, so we'll discuss that later when we have more time. I think people are dying to hear about this. Not 7 projects actually, but 6, because the person representing one municipality from Hungary to talk about the TITSA project about energy poverty, fight against energy poverty, had a last-minute issue and cannot be there today. But you have all the info in the fact sheets we prepared, and hence we've got more time for the 6 projects presentation. Pat, the floor is yours again.
Exactly. Thank you, Armelle. So it will be 6 projects. We're going to also have some I hope time to pose questions to them, etc. We have asked them to do a pitch, let's say, on some key elements for the presentation that did focus on this analysis of CLSI that we are doing. And these are: what were the social challenge that the project intended to solve? What was the innovative solution developed to tackle those? How was the local community involved? Also, what are the specific methods, outreach strategy, etc., which I think is one of the most challenging part for these kind of projects. And then also to share some challenges so that we also learn and we reflect later at the end of the session with our other panelists on how to hopefully tackle these challenges. I think all the projects are now ready. I'm going to invite to take the floor to the very first one, which is Mara Bosboom from Mara, the program manager of Toukomst initiative in the Netherlands. And I think you are now connected, if I'm not wrong. Let me see across. Mara, can you hear us? I see you are connected and with your mic open, but we cannot hear you yet. So then what I will propose, perhaps, while we solve this technical issue, is to give the floor to the second project. And for this, I would like to welcome Ana and Isabel Alarcón López from Accion Against Hunger in Spain. Sorry, Mara, you are raising your hand.
Okay, I wait.
Just 1 second. Ana, Mara, can you hear us? Okay, don't worry. Perhaps Ana, please, yeah.
So I'm the first
Go
one.
ahead and...
Yes?
Yes, please.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Okay, can you see my full screen?
Not yet. I see the presentation, but with the slides. So if you click on to display the presentation mode. Now we see it, if you click on the configuración de visualización up and you change, because I believe you have 2 screens.
Yeah, I thought that it was...
You have to select the other option. Normally. In the center, I don't know if you can see,
Yeah.
configuración de visualización.
Now I can see
Up.
Up here.
Up, the whole up in the screen. At the top, you have mostrar barra de tareas, configuración de visualización.
But no veo la configuración de visualización. Sí, lo tenía solucionado antes, qué raro. Uso compartido, no. Sorry. Aquí tampoco.
No worries. Otherwise, the only thing is that we should we see the 2 slides at the same time.
Ana, lo tienes tapado con una ventanita de Zoom, que puedes quitar. Creo que lo tienes tapado justo esa opción.
Lo tengo.
Yeah, probably if you're sharing the sharing screen is on top of the button that you need to click to share in full mode.
Sorry. Ahora no
Why just go like that? Because we can read the slides. Even if it looks a bit less nice, it doesn't really matter. You can go ahead.
Yes, can you see the presentation? Sorry.
Yes, no, it's okay, it's okay. Go on, Ana.
The solution, I don't know why the configuration is okay. This kind of things of the okay.
Okay, I'm going to start. Our project is called Entrepreneurship and Employment Learning Communities. We started this project in January this year, and it will finish next year in December. So we are implementing currently. The social challenge and needs to be solved. In Spain, as in other countries, we are facing a demographic challenge. So the need to be solved is the rural depopulation. Therefore, we are witnessing not just a demographic impact, also an economic, social, and functional impact in rural areas. As a result, there is a lack of employment and opportunities in towns with a decline of services. So this is provoking the leaving of people from towns to the urban areas, especially female out migration. Women in towns, they are facing precariousness, inequality, especially the unequal distribution of the household tasks. So most of women are living to towns, and also, I don't know why it's not here in the presentation, but young people also are living to cities because they don't have the opportunity to have a professional development in small towns. So the reality is that in the small towns and villages, there is a masculinization of the population. Most of them are all men in towns. That is a general view. Okay. So what is our solution? Our innovative solution, together with other solutions that are being implemented by local and regional governments. We propose a project based on learning communities, what we call a learning communities. A learning community is a collective space. We put together different stakeholders, all the key stakeholders that are interacting in a different ways in an area, not just in one town, maybe in a area, a bigger area, different towns, or with an influence of a main town, maybe. So we try in this space to create a collaborative space to exchange information. What is the need here? What kind of resources we have? What can we do with all we have here? And I'm going to change because all of these stakeholders, the key is the variety of the stakeholders. The more variety, the better. Here we can see public agents, private agents, normal citizens, employed people, entrepreneur people, people who have connections with the towns, but they are living on cities, because we see this reality also, that some people with connections want to come back to the towns, but they don't have a professional development there, but they are interested in the development of the community. Businesses in the area is also important, the educational community, all with the focus on the development of the territory. What is the purpose of this community? They had to create together a solution, an action plan, wherever. We accompany of this process in this process. In the sessions, we dynamize the sessions, and if they decide, for example, they need train in something, or they need advice to develop a social initiative, a social entrepreneurship initiative, we train and we accompany in all of this process. An interesting point here is that we can see together the community, and we as a dynamizer of this community, we can decide to organize thematic communities. For example, nowadays we have a community around sustainable tourism, because we have detected that it's an emerging sector. So we are working in develop initiatives, entrepreneurship initiatives in sustainable tourism. And another topic, for example, is forestry management. That is an emerging sector here in Spain as well. So we are working in the developing of this kind of initiatives in these rural areas together with the stakeholders in the towns.
1 minute, please, Anna.
1 minute? Okay, this is my last one. How we involve the community from the beginning. Always the key is ask for them, for their advice, for their support, for their suggestions, or what would you do? What do you want to collaborate with us? Always we have to come with them, giving them the importance. Okay, you are who know the territory, so we want to come with you always. So this is the key, because if not, they can see you like a competitor or like a external. So we always ask for their suggestions, advice, and to organize joint activities. That is the key. And one of the challenges, we have more challenges, but the main challenge is the community engagement and to find a common interest. That is the main challenge. We can talk about more, but I'm going to finish here. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you a lot, Anna, for presenting the initiative that Action Against Hunger is doing in rural areas in Spain. Community engagement is the key, but it's also the challenge. Let's see if it's the same for the other projects, and that we can elaborate more in the panel later in this morning. I don't know if the technical solution with Mara is solved now, and we can hear from you, because it's a very interesting initiative in the Groningen province in the Netherlands, but I cannot hear you, Mara. We'll then continue for the sake of not delaying the whole program, but please, if you can perhaps disconnect and try, because we really want to also for you to present to others. Okay, so this, yes, I hear somebody, but I'm not sure it's Mara. Okay. Let's then go with our next selected CLSI project, Björn Vondran, in the organization Social Impact in Germany. Good morning, Björn, and please, the floor is yours. 5 minutes to present us,
Yes.
as you know, the needs, innovation, community engagement, and your challenge. If you put it in full
Yes, I just started my timer.
we will
Sorry.
Hello,
everybody. Good morning. Good morning from Leipzig, Germany. My name is Björn, and I work for Social Impact. We are a non-profit organization in Germany with over 10 different locations and a lot of projects. And the project I'm presenting today to you is called Think Global, Act Local. And it's a project focusing on the rural regions in Brandenburg, and a lot of things that Anna already mentioned before are also parts or challenges for our project. Also, a lot of stuff that Armelle mentioned really resonated with me when you were presenting. Our project started last year, but as you see, it's like in December last year. So we actually started this year, and we are now in the half of our project, which runs till the end of November next year. The challenges we are addressing in Brandenburg, you can see Brandenburg there on the map in the yellow color. Brandenburg is the county around Berlin, and it's in the eastern part of Germany, and it also in the former GDR, it wasn't highly industrialized, and the economic infrastructure was not very good, which just worsened after the fall of the Berlin Wall. So we've got general economic underdevelopment, demographic decline, and from that on, we can see, or there are studies showing a lot of social exclusions for vulnerable groups. What you can see on the left side also is one of our locations in the middle of nowhere in Brandenburg, in Fleet-Stieglitz, that we are using for this project, also for workshops and community engagement and network events. this is not working. I need to click. I've included the what we are doing and what kind of target groups we are addressing in one slide. Our approach is really, really very much the brief for the community-led social innovation. Like, we are trying to gather focus groups from the rural regions in Brandenburg. And as focus groups, we understand groups with diverse stakeholders. For example, we are trying to, on the left, you see a picture. The young man smiling in the camera is the youngest mayor in Germany in a small town of Garcìa. And in the middle is one of my colleagues working with him. And on the left is a young entrepreneur from this region who's got a local startup there. So what we are trying to do with the focus groups is we are trying to get people together on one table that represent different perspectives, like people from private households, people from NGOs, local initiatives, businesses, municipality, government, in order to actually kickstart this co-creative process, because we strongly believe that the innovation can only come from within the communities. Our role is more or less to help them and empower them and connect them and give them the right tools to come up with their own solutions. Speaking of tools, we developed, you can see it right here. We developed unfortunately, it's only in German, self-assessment tools that all of our members of the focus groups use before they have the first meeting or within the first meeting, that focuses on different perspectives all the time, local and global. And from that, we'll hope that it's kind of a long questionnaire. People are also complaining, it's too long, but it's kind of a long questionnaire, which in the end should help us find blind spots, like spots where the municipality is saying, we are already addressing this, but the local NGOs is saying, no, we don't see that you're addressing this problem. Leading to the challenges, most of them were quite the same as Anna was already mentioning. We do face the challenge of the acquisition and composition of the focus groups. Like, you need to find people from the right stakeholder segment that are willing and have time on their hands and are interested in doing something for the community. We also have the big challenge that some of our stakeholders in the focus groups are not really familiar with the kind of co-creation and bottom-up process. Some of them are also, one of my older colleagues in this project is saying, we are not the first to do this kind of thing in the rural regions in Brandenburg. And some of them are a little bit fed up with people coming, okay, we need to do some bottom-up co-creation process. No, we've already been there, done that. This is the one thing. And the third is, like, within our discussions or within the work with our focus groups, we oftentimes see the solutions we are right now developing seem quite small. They seem quite minuscule if you look at the scale of the problems that are arising. For example, right now we have the biggest problem that always comes up in the focus groups is, like, the government crashed and we are facing a re-election coming this next February. And there's some kind of paralysis also within the funding structures in the ministries. Nobody is right now interested in starting new stuff. Everybody's waiting for, okay, what's going to happen? So this is what I wrote down with the unsolvable big problems versus the small wins. And this concludes presentation. I hope
Thank you, Björn.
Really looking forward to the discussion later. So,
yes, the challenges for the community engagement, again, with priority, with expectations, with bringing everybody together, not to generate frustration of things that have been already said. small solutions, but we are here testing, and then for that the scaling up perhaps is very important. Let's see, you cannot tackle a big societal challenge if you don't go step by step. Perhaps that's my opinion. Okay, to mention that you have might have seen that Armelle is putting some links in the chat so that you can access a project fiche of all these projects that are presented. And there you have more details on these elements. There you have also their contact details in case you want to reach out to explore possible synergies, collaboration with them. So please click on the link and do not hesitate to connect with each other, because it's the whole purpose of this network. Mara, I think that we finally managed. Can you unmute yourself and say something?
Let's see, can you hear me?
Yes, perfect.
Oh, thank goodness.
Thanks a lot, because I know that you are also running your own event today and training, and made the time to be here even though. So thanks a lot, Mara, as I said, project manager of Toukomst initiative in the Netherlands. Can you please share with us your...
Do you have the slides for me?
Yes. Do you want me to share the screen for you?
If you could, that would be great.
Perfect. Okay, so one...
Sorry, I'm also a little bit ill, so I haven't been very good in communicating everything.
Do not worry. Really appreciate your effort and your multitasking and even being sick. So
no problem, because it's very interesting to hear from the other projects, because they face a lot of the same issues that we face. Our project is called Toukomst, which means future. And maybe if you can go to the next slide, or I don't know how to do this. Yes, great. There have been earthquakes in the northeast of the Netherlands in the area called Groningen. And that's where this project is focused. And the government has said, okay, the issues with the earthquakes and people not feeling safe, that's what we need to solve. But we also need more. We need solutions for intergenerational problems, as I saw as well with the Brandenburg project for long-term unemployment, all sorts of things. And we want to accomplish what we call brede welvaart, which is a general well-being for all the citizens in Groningen, in the area, so that they are healthy, that they are employed, that they have safe housing, that they have a good social network, and all things that connect to that. So how can we do this? If I don't know how to go to the next slide, sorry, do I? And I don't dare to push a button in case something goes wrong. What we did was, in looking for solutions, was that we were very lucky that the government said, okay, we will set apart 100 million for a community-led program for 10 years. And this 100 million is specifically for citizens in Groningen who can volunteer ideas about their living environment and their future environment. So we had no problem finding focus groups or finding people who were interested, because we did a very wide call and said, if you have an idea that will benefit the people in Groningen or the landscape in Groningen, let us know, and we will see if we can realize this idea. So the ideas were very diverse. They ranged from ideas about history, culture, recreation, and tourism, to also a lot of ideas were about the green spaces, the waterways, the landscape surrounding the people. And there were some economical and social ideas, a lot about schooling, a lot about youth and children, and poverty for children. And all these ideas came from the people in Groningen and were made and are being executed with people in Groningen. Can I have the next one? Thank you so much. So the local community was involved by gathering their ideas. There were 900 ideas that were gathered. 900 people said, yes, we have an idea. And those were compiled then into 65 ideas, because some people had the same idea and some ideas were not realistic and things like that. And then there was put together a local community judge. There was a panel of 20 people from the local area, and also 30,000 people voted for a people's choice. And in the end, 42 ideas were chosen to be executed. And as I said before, there were ideas on landscape, on tourism, on schooling, on children, on housing for elderly, on all sorts of things. The problem here was that the citizens wanted to execute their own plans, and this was very difficult, and this took a long time. As Björn was saying as well, not everyone is used to dealing with government rules and government money, and in the end, this was government money. Can I have the next one? Here were some problems that we faced, were that the before this process, the government had an idea about what would be good for the citizens, and the citizens also had their own ideas about what would be good, and they tried to bring these together, but in the end, the processes didn't align. So the citizens were further ahead with their process. So in the end, the government vision never latched on to what the citizens thought of. And we are just doing an evaluation. We are 5 years in now, and we are just doing an evaluation. And we find that the biggest problem is that there is 100 million, so the money is not a problem. But the biggest problem is getting the money to the private citizens so that they can execute their own ideas. And we find that the government structure as it is at the moment is not very well equipped for letting citizens execute their own ideas. So that was it. I don't know if there are any questions, if there will be questions at the end, but.
Thank you very much, Mara. We can perhaps leave some seconds to see if somebody have any question for you or for the other two panelists. Vanessa is echoing that your experience also is reflecting theirs when working with social innovation. This is a different case from the others. It's something that's coming from public administration with this, starting with this earthquake and this big allocation of money, and then how to align the government vision with the citizens. So there are a lot of elements on community engagement that are in your project. And again, Armelle put the link to the project Fish, and I think they mention all the methods that you did with the citizens panel, with all the call is really community-led, which of course the complication that also entails, and this had happened also, we've seen in other programs, EU programs, there is a funding, but then you need the skills to access that funding, to manage it, and to fulfill what is in the criteria. Therefore, it's not always so easy. All right, more comments in the chat about shared experience.
No questions, but echoes from other people and projects saying they have the exact same methodology, or at least the same general methods, which is super interesting, really. And that could be a good point to explore a bit further next year, because it's a key issue, how to involve the local community, and what are the practical tools and methods that you use.
Yeah, for their empowerment. It's not only about involvement, but really.
Yeah, capacity building, skills, knowledge, etc. Or how do you reach them out also?
It's good to know we're not alone. So thank you for organizing this call.
Maha, thank you so much, because this is the exact objective of this network. To feel less alone, to know that you've got other people you can exchange with. This is your space. This is really your network.
Thank you, Mara. Feel free to comment and to exchange with the others in the chat on those thoughts. And now from the Netherlands and a public administration-led project, we will move to Portugal, to rural Portugal, central Portugal. I would like to welcome Monica Sousa from the local action group AEIDL. Good morning, Monica. Please tell us a bit more about community-led social innovation that you've been now for a number of years implemented in different areas. This is an example that have been tested and scaled up already. We will also hear about that later.
Hello, everyone. You can see my screen.
We do, yes. Thanks, Monica.
Nice. It's an honor to be here today to present VirtuALL. As Patricia said, we are located in the center of Portugal, and we started in 2019, sorry, to address the demographic aging in 5 municipalities where AEIDL operates. And when we look at this territory, we see nearly 29% of the population is aged 65 years or older. Many seniors live in rural areas, often isolated with low digital literacy and limited access to essential service. This isolation leads to feeling loneliness, exclusion, and an overall decline in quality of life. VirtuALL was created to respond to this challenge by providing a tailored intervention. Our goal is to promote social inclusion, health, and digital engagement for seniors. We aiming to empower them with tools and research to stay connected, improve their well-being, and also to participate actively in their community. What makes VirtuALL unique is the combination of technology and community-driven engagement to deliverable impact solution. We use advanced tools such, for example, virtual reality, augmented reality, and serious games that was produced in Portugal, alongside with social innovation practice to promote an active and aging and also inclusion. All solutions are co-created with input from seniors, but also a multidisciplinary team, ensuring that they are relevant, effectiveness, and meet the real needs. Since 2019, the project results are 1,500 seniors have benefited from our activities, so indoor, outdoor, and intergenerational programs with other generations, for simplify the English. The project has significantly improved digital and health literacy while fostering physical, social, and mental well-being. The community involved is built on the strong connection to local community as well as structural collaborative ecosystems. In this ecosystem, we will see local action groups, municipalities, civil society organization, academic institutes, and also startups, which partners play a role in ensuring the project's success. We offer initiatives like regular group sessions, intergeneration programs, and also, as I said, a mix of activities designed to meet the specific needs of our seniors. These collective efforts ensure that VirtuALL remains dynamic, inclusive, and closely aligned with the realities of our communities. We have many challenges to talk about, but I select only 3 because they remain all the time in our projects. The first one is the demographic aging of our population, requiring sustainable solution to meet their evolving needs. Also, the key is the fundings, because ensuring free access to all activities, we need funding to support this kind of project. And also, maybe the people don't talk about it, but the impact evaluation is very important in our project. So the other people want to do things, not to fill forms about these things. Want to do things, not to work about how this can improve their lives. And I think it's all in 5 minutes, but it's the overall of the project. Thank you.
Thank you, Monica. Thanks a lot for keeping the 5 minutes, but we will be also sharing the link to your project, the project FISH, for people to get to know, because as I said, this is a very interesting project that is starting in a local area, rural depopulation. It's a common issue across Europe with isolation for the elderly, especially in remote areas. It's an example of the combination of technology, but for the sake of social innovation. From Portugal then, yes, Armelle?
Just to check, Björn, you had raised your hand, which is not there anymore. You wanted to ask a question? No, it was a mistake. Okay.
This was the applause reaction. I think.
Okay.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Thanks for that applause that we joined. We will go back to you, Monica, later in this morning for this concrete part of the scalability, because you have done it, and this is key. It's a key aspect on social innovation experimentation. There was a comment in the chat from Vanessa from ERCA on how, when you mobilize the community, we tend to reach out those that are already engaged, those that are already capable, which are they're normally a minority, but then when you want to tackle certain societal challenges, those that are not so familiar with these funding schemes, with this kind of terminology, concept, etc., we are not still reaching out. So we risk at increasing even more social exclusion if we don't take into account some inclusivity in what we do, in our vocabulary, etc. But I'm saying this also to connect with the next CLSI project, because it's about people in a vulnerable situation in the Czech Republic. Therefore, I'm going to invite to take the floor Markéta Dvořáková and Kateřina Boukalová. Can I see you there? Yes, from the local action group in the Central Bohemian region in the Czech Republic, with this initiative of the community center in your area. Hello, Markéta, Kateřina. Yes, we cannot hear you yet. Now we do, and we see your slides. Yes, perfect. Thanks.
Okay. I cannot go back with the presentation. Okay, doesn't matter. Good morning to everybody. We are from Local Action Group from the Czech Republic, from the Central Bohemia region. The name of our Local Action Group is Brdy Vltava. We have got a mountain called Brdy, and we have got a river called Vltava. From, I think, 2011, we have been monitoring and organizing various sessions and doing many activities to monitor and gather the needs of our community. We included municipalities, representatives, social service providers, and various groups of our citizens. We made many services and we recognized some specific needs, and one of those needs was the need for integrated and coordinated social services in our region to reduce social exclusion through a stronger community involvement. And we did not have any space where the sources of the community can't meet with the needs of the community. In our project, which is the community center, which we called the World of Good People, we focus on families in need, for unemployed people, drug addicts, single parents, homeless people. And in total, we are talking about 400 people who are living in our region. Our population is around 30,000 inhabitants. And this need, as I said, led us into thinking about creating a place, safe place, where anyone can find help, and those who are able, where they can offer help to the community. So from the community for the community principle.
So, and now we aren't able to move to next slide.
Next slide.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. In the community center, we provide integrated and coordinated services, and it is the community center is led by a community social worker, and we involve local inhabitants to provide the help, concrete help, and to organize activities for the community. One of these activities are collection and distribution of food and other necessities for people in need, community wardrobe, where can people bring clothes they don't need anymore. And we also provide activities such as tutoring for children from socially excluded families, leisure time activities. And because of increasing problems with mental health of children in our region, we offer also special kind of therapies, therapies with horses, music therapies. And now we are trying with the forest therapy. And yes, in creating of this solution, as I said, we involve many actors through the process of the monitoring of the needs, and they are also participating in program of the community center, in activities, in the help that we can offer. And we also manage to involve some local businesses, food producers, local food markets, who give us the food for the community. We also involve schools, and we have they can come here and see what we are doing. We are asking the students and the pupils what they would like to be organized here, and how they would like to participate in our community center. Our challenges are to involve more, we don't have problem with children, but with youngsters, to involve them in the activities, in the help, and in the future of our region. Another challenge is how to measure the impact of our activities and how to spread them into other parts of the region, and how to be still flexible with what is going on. Because, for example, when the war in Ukraine started, we were able to help the refugees who came into our region. During the COVID, we managed to organize help in another way. So we are still aware of what is going on and what we are facing. So this is all from us, from the Czech Republic. Thank you for your attention.
Thanks a lot, Markéta and Kateřina, for sharing this example on how you identified all the fragmented services and created the integrated system. The support for the vulnerable groups was a strength, and taking into account their needs. You explained how you did it. More information, it's also in this project fiche, to the link to the website, and as we said, we will be sharing all the presentations, because I think these elements that you mentioned are probably very useful for others that are thinking on how to articulate that integrated system in a similar way. We will speak later about the impact assessment. Yes, a key aspect of it that many of us struggle with. And especially then if we also want to be flexible, because societal challenges emerge and you don't know when and how, and we need to be quick in reacting to serve these needs. We don't have any questions, so I'm going to give the floor to the last but definitely not least project selected through the call, Eric Hendriks from the Munity service, also in the Netherlands. So good morning, Eric. Please.
Good morning. Thank you, Patricia. Can I? Do you hear me correctly?
Yes, we do.
Yes. Okay, fine. I'll start sharing my presentation. One moment.
Perfect.
Here we go. And just one more check if you can
it's
still
okay.
understand. It's all right. Okay.
Perfect. Yeah.
Well, great. I'll start. Well, thank you. Good morning, everybody. My name is Eric. I'm here from the Netherlands. And well, this whole project that I'm in is quite an adventure for me, because it started all 10 years ago when I moved to another city and I didn't know anybody in my neighborhood. So I felt quite lonely there. And to solve that problem, I started writing stories about people in the neighborhood. And it was a great thing to do. And I published these stories on a website, which was very well visited. And people started reading those stories and started also recognizing other people in the neighborhood. And this started to become a movement. And this all went quite out of hand. So at the moment, we have developed a method to connect people in neighborhoods. And I've got this great team, which you can see here. So it's still a great adventure. And what do we do exactly? So I'm going to tell you about that. And of course, it starts with challenges, with problems that we try to solve. And these are the challenges that we have met in the neighborhoods that we work in. And these problems vary from aging population and then the increased care needs, also rising loneliness, especially among young people. Of course, all things happening around climate change, energy transition, and that we had to welcome many refugees. So these are a lot of social problems, and we found that these problems are easier to deal with when you work together and you start using what's available to you. Yeah, and that was a bit of the problem, because we found that neighborhoods do not use their potential. Now, what do I mean with potential? Yeah, these are all the people that live in your neighborhood who have knowledge or talents or skills, have plenty of time at their hands, and they can offer a great deal. But it's very difficult to find these things because they're mainly invisible, like this iceberg. The most of the things underwater, so you can't see what's there. It's the same with all these things in the neighborhood. So what we really want to do is to expose all these talents, to lift the iceberg up from the water, so that people can see what's available in the neighborhood and start using it and sharing that. Well, we developed an approach to do that. And that is a 3-step approach, which we developed. And it starts very locally, that we start mobilizing people in the neighborhood who find their neighborhood important and are attracted to this idea of sharing. And we start a movement through various sessions with lots of people, where we make them enthusiastic about this idea. And then we pick a team of community connectors, that's step 2. And they make everything the neighborhood has to offer, they make it visible to the neighborhood, and they start to connect people. So both offline but also online. And online is step 3, which is this online platform where everybody can find each other and everything in the neighborhood. So this enables engagement in the neighborhood. That's the role of the platform. Well, the most important thing is, of course, the team of community connectors. What kind of people are those? Well, these are very active residents who care deeply about their neighborhood, about their community. They have time. They spend a couple of hours per week in a nice team, and they make everything visible in the neighborhood. Well, that's my next sheet. So what are they doing? They make everything visible. So they are the people who lift the iceberg from the water, so people can use the talents and things from the neighborhood. And these people also encourage others to participate, and they connect people, and they offer help by using this online platform. So that's what I do. It's a nice team. It's very good working together. So it's very good for your own personal development. So that's what the community connectors do. And they use as a tool this platform. And this platform is the place, the online place in the neighborhood where people can find each other and everything what's available. So it's a central point, a central hub of all information about everything in the neighborhood. And it's very easy to find each other and all people in the neighborhood. But you have to keep in mind, it's a tool. It's not the end goal. The end goal is meeting people and using what's there in the neighborhood. That's the end goal. The platform is there to support that goal. Well, we're already working for 10 years on these problems, and the Erasmus University has measured what the impact of our approach is. And they have measured that after 1 year with this approach, a single person in the neighborhood meets on average 22 new people, and she or he keeps in touch on a regular basis with 9 of them. So that's a very nice way of measuring the impact of community connectors with this platform. It results in that people meet each other, and that's what our goal is. What I said, we are working 10 years in the Netherlands, so we have already scaled in lots of communities, learned a great deal about what works and what doesn't work. But we still have some challenges, and our main challenges are the following, which are really 3. And the first one is that we want to ask the question, how do we inspire or support these community connectors to add even more value to the community? So we're still interested in how to do that. So the more value they offer, the more people also meet each other, and the more people use this platform. Because that's step 2. That's the second question. How can we increase the number of frequent users? So there's no problem that people visit this platform for the first time, but the main challenge is that to increase the weekly or even the daily use of such a platform where people meet each other. And the last question that we want to ask each other this year, or not this year, next year, should we expand our service to the EU, or should we just stay in the Netherlands? And if you want to expand, how are we going to approach this? So we still don't have an answer to this question. So that finalized my presentation of community services. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Eric, for this comprehensive presentation from how it started very locally to how it has expanded really across the Netherlands. There is a link in the chat to it if perhaps we have Dutch people that also wish to connect with others and test this tool. As you said, the platform is a tool, not the end goal. So again, using technology, but as a tool to support social innovation. We have a comment from you, Björn, that I will give you the floor if we can do it like in a couple of minutes so that...
just one quick question
because from Björn.
Just one question to Eric. Who's funding the platform, or who's paying for the platform? I didn't get that.
Yeah, every local municipality is paying for the platform.
Okay.
Yeah, they also have the advantage of the platform where people meet each other, so they have a lot of advantages where people are connected in their municipality. So that's why they want to pay for it.
So you partner with the local authorities as a service
Yes.
for them, this platform. And then I imagine for the local connectors, which is a key element, and you said that also a challenge how to motivate them, how to engage them more. I guess this more is a volunteer basis.
Yeah, they're all volunteers. So we have these regular meetings with all of them in the Netherlands, which are really big parties of energy, and that's a way to mobilize or to motivate them to do what they find important.
Yeah, I think that this came across different presentations, this local connector, these local people that are key in being the engine behind bringing others, and perhaps we can continue speaking about this later when we have the panel. So I think it's now time for the coffee breaks, right, colleagues? We are
Any
pretty on time.
questions? No. Time to digest the wealth of information that you received this morning with your coffee, and maybe you will have questions later on. You'll be able to contact all the speakers because we will share the slides with all of you later on.
Indeed. So we will be reconvening at what was time that 5 to 12 for a specific time. So we have something like 14 minutes now. Please do not disconnect. So stay connected to normal camera, mics, etc. If you wish. We'll put a slide with the coffee break. So in 14 minutes, we go back to these two aspects of CLSI, the impact evaluation, the scalability, learning more from these inspiring examples. Thank you. See you in 14 minutes.
So I hope you had a nice break. We are fully aware that it was very dense, but we really wanted to share as much info as possible about these projects. As a citizen, I'm always amazed and really thankful for all the people and organizations that are trying to find new solutions to solve all the complex challenges that our sad world is facing today. That gives me hope, and I hope it is for you too. So that's the positive notes I'd like to start with and restart with to talk about one topic we very briefly touched upon, which is how to assess and evaluate your results and social impact, which is key for any project. We know that, but more important for social innovation and social evaluation, because as I was saying, you're starting something new. You have little benchmark, little baseline, and it's pretty hard to know if you're going to succeed or not. For hence, it's really important to evaluate from the beginning. And despite it is difficult in the social field area, much more than in any other field because it's not tangible, to provide evidence for you to know if you adjust, if you go on, if you abandon, and also to convince both funders. The money is not the only aspect, but it's a crucial element, and it was mentioned in an exchange earlier on, as well as not just to sustain your project, but to expand the benefits of your solution, which is doing some good to some people and providing solutions. So other people are in needs, other territories are in needs, share what works well. This is all about innovation. And I'd like to invite all the projects had launched some evaluation of their results with different tools and different methods. And it's important to stress there is not one method, right? It's resource intensive evaluation. Let's be clear, it's not easy. So we wanted to ask one of them, recently started actually, to share the methods and tools they are going to use. And I will invite Alicìa, that I don't see, because I don't see everybody.
Hello.
Yes. Hello, Alicìa. So we were really interested by what you mentioned in your proposal, and I'd love you to share that with the other participants. And then I warmly invite everybody, the other projects and all the participants, to discuss questions, share experience about how to measure social results and social impact. Alicìa, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Armelle. I'm going to, well, first of all, just to reinforce your idea of that the evaluation and the monitoring of activities through key indicators are really important also for us, because it's giving us relevant information about if the initiative is working or not, if we can identify issues, if we something is not working, and of course it gives us the opportunity to make the appropriate monitoring of the progress of the project and compare if we are implementing this project in 3 different areas. We can compare results and we can identify these issues in certain regions or not. So I'm going to share the screen if I can. Okay. Okay. So this is the evaluation and monitoring indicators that we are going to use in this project that we introduced before, but we introduced it. And this project started in January this year. So we have not, we don't have the results so far, but it will be interesting to share with you the I don't know, okay, the indicators we are going to use and to measure, what we are going to measure. So, well, for the 2 years the project lasts, and these are the impact indicators, because we are going to create learning communities, no? And we include this kind of indicators, which is more related with the participation, no, with the results of the the project. So 28 communities will be created, but all the people will have active participation. This number, no, 630 people living in rural areas will improve their employability and will participate in the revitalization of the area. And one very, very important indicator for us in all our activities is the insertion rate, the labor insertion rate, which is always measured. And we are always monitoring this through all the programs and comparing one and the others and methodologies who is having more impact than others. And here the insertion rate was established, foreseen in 22%, as we were based on the first experience, and it brings these results. So we were like conservative in this case, because it's not only the first time was not only the employability, but the active participation also in the learning communities, as we call it. And one step forward, we move towards how these indicators or how these our activities can impact in the SDGs. So we selected those who were impacted by the project, and we identify the indicators that were impacted in the SDGs, the corresponding SDGs. So you have here all of them. So, for example, in gender equality, we are introducing training. Training on the leadership, women training on leadership, and about the decent work and economic growth. The number of self-employed people, unemployed, will be also nurturing these SDGs. About reducing inequalities, we are focusing on disadvantaged and vulnerable people always. We are trying to support these target groups, so that we are going to impact directly this, and with the number of participants and desegregated by gender, origin, and age. About climate action, we think we will have an impact because we will be developing trainings. For sure, well, it depends on the results of the communities. The communities are deciding what kind of activities should be done or not in the territory, but we want to foster the creation, well, the delivering of training on green and circular economy sectors. We are going to introduce this as transversal view, always in the employability through employment, self-employment or employment. And of course, we impact on the partnership SDG, because we are creating the learning communities, and we consider that this is a kind of partnership or collaboration that can be also impactful on the community. And well, we want to share with you also this like a quality, not quality kind of subjective evaluation, because we truly believe that we impact in the feelings of the people, and we are affecting their whole situation, not only the person, but the families and so on. So we created time ago the Empowerment Index, and we include it in all our programs, but we include it here as well. And it allows us to measure the change in the life and the perception of life and the perception of empowerment of the participants, and how they verbalize this after their participation in the projects. They are asked to answer these three kind of questions, three aspects. So the improvement in their situation in the labor market, the achievement of personal goals, motivation, self-confidence, and in their abilities or in the professional aspects. And of course, the subjective perception of changes in their families and relatives. So it's true that our programs impact on the families as well, and the families in environment. And we are like having information from the people, and we want to see if our programs are having more impact than foreseen, than participate, and then to have a job, no? So that's why we are including this, incorporating this index in our program. So, and specifically in this project, who is related with the community, very, very close with the community, and is following their like indications or their willings or needs or whatever they want to do with the project. So we are, the assessment session after the end of each activity or section is asked by a questionnaire or a focus group or a group session. So the learning community have their own power to change and apply changes in the programs or the things or the action plans they are developing for the territory. So we are giving the power, let's say, and they are evaluating first, and then they are planning to write something or change something. And that's all from my side. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Questions, of course.
Well, I'm sure they will. Thanks a lot, Alicìa. We wanted to share this example with you. There are many more, but we thought it was quite, despite you have not started, you're only starting, I should say. It's very comprehensive. The way we wanted to have practical examples of indicators as well. I can see a strange message. The Zoom session is closed. I hope you still see me. Okay.
Yes.
That was fake news. Okay, so back, practical example of indicators. There's no magical recipe. Each indicator is related to the type of project that you're implementing. So here it's about entrepreneurship in rural areas. Your indicators will be different. Don't try to build tons of them. Choose the really relevant ones, as here it was shown. other interesting aspect was that you go from local to what is our effect beyond the local level, which is also very interesting. And it's really the butterfly effect and how every single local action can have an impact at an upper level. And the tools and the methods as well. And we thought that the empowerment index in particular in relation to CLSI was super interesting. And it is also to show that you must combine quantitative and qualitative assessments when you're dealing with social innovation. Purely quantitative indicators are not sufficient to really assess the quality of your projects. So thanks a million, Alicìa. I will open the floor to everybody. We're a bit late, but never mind. From the other projects also, the CLSI projects, because you're all doing the same thing. You're all evaluating your results. So who'd like to start with either questions or sharing an experience? Shall I ask Eric maybe, because you said that, I mean, you started years ago and you saw that, I am not sure, Alicìa, you're doing this internally, the evaluation, or you're using an external evaluator?
We are doing internally.
Okay, so that shows you as well the two options, because in the case of Munity, you're using an external evaluator, the university.
Yes, that's correct.
So,
What's exactly the question?
The question is, share your experience. Why this university? What are you measuring? Are these indicators okay for you? Did it make any change in the way you manage your projects? How did you take into account the results?
Yes, it was quite a challenge to create a number which is good to measure and where you can base changes on. And eventually, because you have things like social cohesion and engagement, which are all quite vague terms. And finally, we came out of something you can count, which is the number of encounters between people. How many people have you met that you didn't know before? And after that, how often do you meet these people again? So these turned out to be the basis of the questionnaire and gave us some very interesting figures. And the biggest lesson, I think, for us was that that a lot of impact is quite hidden, because we found that the power of a story which is published can be very big, because when people read about another person, like about a person's hobbies or his interests, and there's a picture of the person with the publication, it turns out that it's very easy to meet these people on the street. So when people encounter such a person, which was in the story, it turned out to be very easier to talk to this person, because you felt that you already knew the person, knew his name or his background. So it kind of broke the ice, and it was easier to connect with people. So that's why we really found out the power of stories, and that make encounters much more effective. And then it's also quite easy to count all these number of times that people meet each other. And so then you start developing a good insight into the effect of certain stories, which stories have bigger impact, which stories have less impact. And we found that the more personal stories were, the more impact they had on people, and where people were motivated to take initiative to talk to people. And of course, there's another category of stories where people read about activities in the neighborhood. So when they read about it, they find a reason to go there, let's say in the weekend. And that's so when they go there, there's another chance that they meet with other people. So stories and information is turned out to be very important for people to facilitate them in meeting others. So that's what, in a nutshell, what we learned with the research, which was done by the university. And they have this special department. It's called the Impact Center of the Erasmus University, and they are specialized in measuring social impact. So if you want, I could share the link in the chat of their approach. Yeah. I'll look it up in the meantime. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Eric. I just want to have a look. I don't see the hands raised, or if there are any questions. There's an information more than a question from Marion Danton, from my place, actually. But maybe I could invite the other projects. I was thinking of you, Markéta, for instance, because I know that for the Good People Center, I just adore that name, or Center for Good People. You also used quantitative and qualitative data. And maybe a general question for everybody is how these results helped you adapt your project and give evidence to be better sustained and maybe scaled. Markéta, the floor is yours. And then you, Björn.
Yes, now at the beginning of January, we are planning interviews with people who have been visiting us for some maybe a year or somehow, and we are planning to ask them about their situation. We are doing this on the regular basis, but not very deeply. Now we will try to interview them more deeply about their situation, and we will ask about the activities they use and about the activities they miss and they would like to use. And also we would like to improve them to be more active. We would like to also ask them what activities would they like to participate in or even organize. And now I'm talking about the people in a threat of social exclusion. So we will try to move them up. So after some kind of help, they might be able to help other people. So we combine this, yes, like monitoring activities, how many people are visiting us, how many activities are being held, and we will now combine with more detailed information. And we would like to also focus on the sources of the community, and how can we spread them more. And our aim is to do the center more independent on public money, and to be able to provide the services on the very local sources, more involvement of volunteers, and so maybe decreasing amount of public money involved in our community center might be one of the indicators we would like to see also.
Okay, thanks a lot. The choice of indicators is very key. It really helps you monitor and understand. That's a key message. Björn, quickly, because people are telling me that we are running out of time.
I just wanted to share
please.
an experience from our side about the question of internal versus external evaluation. I became a huge fan of external evaluation. As Eric pointed out, there are experts, and most of the time they do have like a lot of stuff already figured out. Because in this project I'm now working in, we do have external evaluation, but in the project before I was working in, it was a collaboration of 6 different organizations where it was part of our collaboration to come up with our own KPIs for our reporting and our impact measurement, which was, let's say, interesting and it told, or we learned a lot about this during discussions, but it was I would say, yeah, we didn't have the resources to do it in a way, and we had a lot of discussions, and in the end just came back. We did a lot of loops because our organizations were different, and then we came back to, okay, let's just count the people. But we had like huge discussions about this every month also. How do we measure this? How do we measure this? So I would, from my experience or from our experience, I would strongly advise to have some kind of external evaluation if you don't have the resources planned to come up with your own indicators and KPIs.
Thanks, very useful comments. I'm sure there would be a very interesting discussion between all of you about this, because there are pros and cons, and it depends very much on your organization resources as well. But really be aware that in any case, it's resource intensive. I think it would be cheating to say, even if you go to a rather light developmental evaluation and not to a counterfactual impact evaluation, it is requesting not only time and money, but also skills. And so plan it really carefully at the beginning. And it's better to do something than to do nothing. Just don't go for a super complex thing that you don't control and don't manage. But try to provide yourself the info you need to monitor your experiments. How do you deal with potential conflict of interest? I think that would open the door to a much too long and complex discussion, but I think I see what you mean, Leonid. So we've got loads of ideas already for next year's topic to be discussed, for instance. If there are no other burning question on evaluation in the floor, maybe we can switch to the ultimate goal of social innovation and social experimentation. Imagine that what you planned actually worked well, and you're successful, and you have evaluated, and you have evidence. Now, don't keep it for yourself. Share what's working well with others. But you're at local level, not automatically aware of who is facing similar challenges. So that's the first obstacle when it comes to transfer and scaling the results of your experimentation or innovation. One important thing that we all know is that there is no copy-paste, because social innovation is highly contextual. But this does not prevent the transfer or scaling or mainstreaming of some elements. It can be partial, but it needs adaptation. So it needs collaboration between the initial experimentation and the receiving contexts. So some projects have already been scaled and transferred, and I would like to give the floor so that you have examples to Monica Sousa, because VirtuALL in Portugal was already implemented in several localities, and Monica will explain to you how. Monica, thank you.
Thank you. And maybe I simplify the process, but I want to ensure this was a complex process, and we start with the evaluation about Portugal, and we do external evaluation with 2 universities, because it's the more complex than what we think it will be easy in the first time. So I simplified this scalability of VirtuALL in 4 points, but I want to show once again it's a complexity thing to do. The first step was to do the evaluation process, so ensure that we address such reducing social isolation, providing digital literacy, and promoting active aging. And this success was with the evaluation impact social, but also organize it at local, national, and European level, highlighting its innovation model as example to follow in. Another point I want to talk about it is the adaptability of this kind of project. So this project approach is flexible and can be tailored to a suite of variety of region, whether it's rural region or urban areas. How? By customizing activities to meet local needs, we ensure that VirtuALL remains impactful no matter where it is implemented. But also another point is the technical solutions that reside on cost-effective and replicable technologies. So most of our technology, as I said in the first presentation of VirtuALL, was made in Portugal or have software in Portugal, and can be key important to simplify this project. This technology are innovative and cost-effective, allowing to expansion without requiring a large investment. So we can go with this technology to a place to another, not to allowing without have more investments about this. And fourth and last, this virtual scalability is not just a concept, it's already happening. We started in 2019 with 6 municipalities. Now in this year, we are in 25 municipalities with a strong partnership with other 3 local action groups, Aliber, Adesses, and Leader Oeste. And also this expansion is driven by a combination of flexible methodologies, transferable technologies, and is the key importance also here is the collaborative framework. So we have to involve stakeholders, such action groups, municipalities, the elder people, the academic institutions, with all play a vital role in ensuring a smooth scalability and fostering opportunities for knowledge sharing. As the last thing I have to say, it's this combination of different stakeholders have to build and have to be in the project, and was a win-win solution to everyone.
Thank you, Monica. A lot. Do you have any plans to further expand to other municipalities and plans to expand your solution or to share it across borders?
Now we have to finalize this year and do internal evaluation, the points that we need to do more and to what we need to change, and to share what we think. Now we have more municipalities that want to join us. So good. Yeah, and a national level, and maybe we can do or transfer this to a police, a Portuguese police, to ensure that at national level everyone can be part of this project. So for that we need, as you say, and the challenge, we need the financial support to do those things. It's not easy to have this kind of things. Also, the equipment is very an innovation approach, and academic and doing this kind of things with minimal financial support can be not easy, and we need this kind of support.
Yeah. Thanks. And because, I mean, you give me a good transition, because I would like to ask all the projects participating today what is, in their opinion, the biggest challenge when they think about, okay, my project is working well, it's super useful, and I would love to share it with others. What are the main obstacles, the main issues that you faced or you are facing? I know Eric was finishing his presentation with, should we go to the EU level? Should we expand beyond Netherlands? I know that Björn, for the Think Global, Act Local, sorry, you also include maybe the possibility to go to national and maybe EU level. Markéta, you were talking about developing a regional branch from your local centers. You all have these questions in mind. What is the big limit? Take the floor.
If I may start, Armelle.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe Björn wants to
Thank
start? No? Okay. Well, the big limit, of course, there are no limits, but it's also a question of focus and ask yourself why. Of course, it's good to help more and more people, but there's also the quality issue that you want to do your work in a good manner. So if you would focus on expanding in Europe with all these cultures and languages, it's quite an undertaking and can we maintain a nice team, a nice atmosphere in our own team? What will happen if it will grow? Will I lose connection with the people I like to work with? On the other hand, it's also a challenge to meet other people and learn a lot of things. So it really is, I think we need support with that movement from people who have done this, maybe in other branches or other industries, I don't know. How to do that from a financial point of view, organizational point of view, culture point of view. There are lots of things to be learned. And also, do we need to do everything ourselves? Maybe we can just look for a few partners in the bigger countries which you would teach how to do it, and they will do it in the country. So you will have another relationship with like more of a distribution or reseller model. I'm not sure, but yeah, it's more or less, I don't know yet, and I need support and help to do this. That would be the limit, or what keeps me from doing it.
Thanks. I think you can all help each other, and there are different ways to scale. Björn, because the type of projects you're running is a bit different from Eric. What was your point?
I've got two things coming up to my mind. One thing is related to, Armelle, what you earlier said, the high contextuality of this community-supported or community-led innovation, where we are also facing challenges, but we are also seeing that most of the focus groups we are working with are coming from the contacts from our experts we do have in Brandenburg. It's nothing that we can somehow activate from, let's say, Frankfurt or Leipzig for the region there. You need to have somebody there who is actually living there. In the best case, he's living there or she, and who can somehow relate to the people there. This is the first point. And the second point is, I was really interested, or it was interesting to see the project Mara from the Netherlands showcased. They had like a fund where people could somehow apply for, hey, I do have an idea, there's X amount of money, and now let's see, we have 12 ideas and they get this kind of money. So for example, right now at the stage we are at, we are coming to or we are trying to build these focus groups, we're trying to support them, we are trying to connect them, but we don't offer any funding. So they have to come up with their own funding ideas for this. And in order to somehow scale this up or to transfer it to different regions, it would be really nice to have some kind of fund where then projects can apply for that are supported by supportive organizations. This would be, like, I would say, a good way to deal with this.
Yeah, I will answer for Maha, who had to go and was not there. But she was saying, when we asked her about the possibility or the potential for scaling, that the precondition would be that there's a local government or a regional government ready to give the power to the citizens with a budget that is going to be implemented to put in place the ideas from all the citizens, which is a big precondition. But indeed, it's a big one, matching the offer and the demand. Because I think from what I read, at local level, the emergency and the priority is to fix the local problems. And in fact, to be honest, you don't really care about the other localities and the other places, because you want to solve the problems of the people living in this local community. So that's also an additional challenge, I would say, at local level, which is, okay, I can disseminate at least the information about what I'm doing, but I don't know if it will reach the people who would be interested and who face similar challenges. So that's something we need to reinforce a lot. Anna, and that will be the last question. We are just on time. Incredible.
Thank you, Armelle.
Thank you, Björn.
Just to comment that what we are seeing in our project is that we are in 3 regions in Spain, and in each region in different counties, and the project is different in each territory. So that is the challenge if we think about transfer or move the project to another territory. We have to take in account that now it's completely different. The people who are participating is different. The collaboration of the municipalities and the stakeholders is different. In some areas, they are very hostile. It's like, what are you doing here? No? And in other counties, they are, okay, let's go to work together. So, but this is a totally different story in each town, in each territory. Of course, the precondition is the collaboration of the municipality, the town, that is key. But even when you have the collaboration of the municipality, the rest of stakeholders, how are the people, how are they collaborating? In some towns, they are zero participative. so that is always the challenge. So in order to transfer or to move the project, you have to know how is this town or this county.
Thanks a lot for this contribution. Whatever the perspective we take, we often go back to how to really involve and engage in a sustainable way the local communities and the local participants, which are key. And it's actually really one of the big challenges. So we will actually not explore the topic more in depth. Today we are trying to sort of give a broad overview of all the positive insights that community-led social innovation can bring in, and all the challenges that they are facing. And yeah, one of our objectives is to be able to go on and discuss all of this much more next year, more in depth, more in detail with you all and more people even. I'm pretty amazed because we are just 3 minutes late. Is there any question from the floor? One, we could take one before we switch. Now you're all very disciplined also with the time, which is very good. Okay, so now I'm going to give the floor to Patricia, who's going to invite 3 external experts that we thank very much. Thank you to all the projects and participants for their contribution in this session. Patricia, the floor is yours, and thanks to the 3 experts for the time they give to us.
Yes, thank you, Armelle. Again, a warm thank you for the 6 projects that have been really building this event with us and the concrete elements that we wanted to present to make it meaningful and to go into, with the time allowed, into concrete details on this CLSI. As you said, Armelle, is a lot of food for thought for a first encounter. I'm sharing again in the chat with you the Slido because now we are approaching the last part of today's session, and we invite you to now, with all that we've been hearing, reflecting, to if you wish to take some seconds to go there and to vote and to see what an EU CLSI network would be for you. Knowing the limitations we have, so it's still a self-funded project, but we really want to co-create future program and future activities with you. For that, we will go back to that in a minute. But now, last part, this session that we named Harnessing the Power of CLSI, the challenges, lessons learned, the path forward. We invited 3 distinguished panelists that have a long experience in social innovation in different areas. And with that, I would like to welcome first Bruno de Mena, economist and policy analyst at the OECD, Gorka Spia, who is the director of the Aguirre Lehendakarian Center for Social and Political Studies, and Michel Lent is a member of AEIDL board with long trajectory also in the European Commission. So again, thank you for your time. You've been hearing about the projects. You also received in advance the materials, so for giving you this all this thinking. So the first question that I would like to ask you, to each of you, is a bit of reflection. So what are, in a couple of minutes, if you could say what are your common reactions to these 6 CLSI projects that we have here about, and if you could include some, based on your experience, some recommendation, if you have any, or lessons learned, especially for this last point that all of them were mentioned regarding challenges. So I will go perhaps first with Bruno de Mena from the OECD.
Sure. Thank you very much, Patricia, and thank you, Armelle, for inviting me to this meeting. It was very interesting to have the opportunity to hear about all the actors and project initiators on the community-led social innovation project. So thank you very much. Just before answering the question, I just would like to make a small comment. So I work for the OECD. So the OECD is the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. And we are actually now working on a project with the Commission to improve the social innovation impact of the European Social Fund. And actually, we are trying also to gather some information from project people, like most people are now in the meeting. And actually, it would be very interesting to have your point of view if you want to share any ideas or insight on how to improve the social innovation dimension within the next edition of the European Social Fund. So I will leave just my email address here in the chat if you are okay, and then you can reach out, of course, afterwards. So just to answer the question, the 2 intertwined observation I made about the project that we're presenting is that we need, of course, a common understanding of social innovation and its benefits. And this will also help to address a big issue, which is related to financial sustainability, to diversify the funding sources. And actually, having this common understanding makes sure that we have a variety of stakeholders. So we have a multi-stakeholder dynamic to amplify the impact through collaboration. But this cannot be done without a common understanding of the social innovation project that has been implemented. And then a very important topic that could be addressed with this common understanding is to have the diversity of funding sources. And the VirtuALL project that was presented for Portugal said that this funding issue were a problem, and the Munity services presented in Netherlands is a good example of having this involvement of municipalities in funding the platform. So this stakeholder commitment to financial stability is, according to me, something that is very important, because this will make sure that the project will last over the long run. And I hope I wasn't too long.
Thank you, Bruno. So common understanding of social innovation to help understand how we make it sustainable with the multi-stakeholder, and more importantly, with the multi-funding aspect from not only EU, but national, local, regional, public, private revenue. This can really help to make this local bottom-up initiative sustainable in the long run. I would go then move quickly to you, Gorka. So what would you like to share after this?
Yes, hello. Thank you also for the invitation and to have all the information about these initiatives. Well, first of all, I think they are great examples of what are the priorities in terms of themes that we see at the local development and transformation initiatives, like how to connect with those people that are normally not working in the traditional space, and also how to develop new intergenerational linkages, and that part of job generation in rural areas. So I think the themes that have been touched here are priorities, I think, at the European level. And we have seen also very practical examples of how to go very deep into a particular community. What is the case of Toukomst, and really impressive in the way that they've been activating the community at all levels. We know from other experiences that really to get there and to be able to mobilize so many people really takes a lot of effort and good strategy and collaboration. But we have also seen very specific themes, like how to design new professional roles, like community connectors that are present in many of the most interesting initiatives on the social innovation field in these days. So I really do believe that there is an opportunity really to go deeper into what those roles mean, what is the added value that they generate if you compare with the existing roles, and what are the business models that can be developed to sustain these roles. There is a very interesting conversation and we have seen very practical examples. In terms of the challenges, I think the evaluation challenge is also connected with the finance challenge. And at the top of what has been said of the internal-external dynamic, there are also new tools like the developmental evaluation that actually generate hybrid models, not only internal, not only external systems of evaluation, but actually hybrid teams that are working with the organizations in the implementation, but they are also coming from other organizations. These models are particularly interested for experimentation because the external role is, as you can imagine, normally just wait until the end of the intervention to make their analysis. And if it's too internal, don't have that capacity to look at what's going on with a bit of distance. So really looking at these hybrid models, I think, make a lot of sense, and there is also quite a lot of evidence in that. And also in terms of that more individual perception way of looking at evaluation that we have seen as well, that in terms of tools, normally is a structure around the most significant change. So how people perceive the change of the intervention. What is the most significant change for people? It's actually one of the most important indicators also that we can that we can use for explaining the impact, but also for having a proper conversation with funders. So thank you very much for all those practical examples. So my final comment is that we have seen a lot of very specific elements in all the projects, and incorporating a more systemic view would require to kind of connect many of the things we have seen in each project as a platform. So, for example, we have seen examples of good mapping of existing actors, good listening to community dynamics, good sense-making or collaboration opportunities, co-creation and prototyping. But the difficult part is really how to integrate all those core elements in the interventions. So I think the suggestion will be to look to revisit the interventions from all these angles in order to scale. So thank you again, and I hope this is useful.
Thank you, Gorka. Very useful. I don't know if you have any link or anything that can be shared about these hybrid models. If you do, you have any resource or anything, please do not hesitate to share it in the link. I'm sure that it's going to be very useful for everybody, because this is always a key part, as we were saying, and something that we will perhaps devote more time next year. So last but definitely not least, Michelle, I would also like to ask your views on this and your main takeaways, highlights of recommendations that you might have.
Thank you, Patricia. Well, first of all, a big thank for inviting me to participate in this very interesting seminar. It's clear that all that glitter is not gold, but we met today real jewels. And it reminded me more than 30 years ago, the very beginning of Leader, when I designed and managed that program. And because some of the projects presented, and maybe namely the Spanish one, the Brandenburg and the Groningen projects, could have been a Leader project at that time, because it was the very idea of Leader. I know that Leader has become something totally different. I don't recognize my baby, but nevertheless, the key word for me at that time, and today, the today's session reinforced my conviction that the key word is link. Link. Development is about link, and it's a two-way process. The local innovation has to be totally embedded in the local context and culture. And the other way around, social innovation is a key component of any local development, and it's too often forgotten. And maybe what Leader has became is a proof that when you get out of the social dimension of development, you go into a purely administrative process and a banal one, unfortunately. So the linkage, most of the, or I must say, all of the 7 projects presented put an emphasis on that link between people, and some projects are totally organized around the enlarging links between people. That the Munity service in the Netherlands, it's a very good example of that, and I'm sure it will inspire a lot of other people. The second point, I think these projects, these successful projects, will be a source of inspiration. And it's why a network is really needed, in order that no one can think is alone with the problem. is alone with his failure. And if we want to enlarge, to scale up the process, a network is the right tool. And just to conclude very briefly with the famous sentence of Samuel Beckett, never give up, try again, fail better.
Thank you, Michelle. Yes, indeed, failure is also embedded in social innovation, as you said, should be always a link, a key component of local development. And actually, you started to elaborate in the very first, in the very last question that I wanted to ask the three of you, very quickly, if possible, 1 minute on. Then what is the added value of CLSI of creating this network that we are trying ourselves also to test and to pioneer and hopefully also to scale up? What would be your views on that? Also starting again with you, Bruno. I know that the three of you already elaborated a bit on that, but just to conclude.
Yeah, for me, there are four main elements and value added of having this network. The first one is related to knowledge sharing, as we are doing right now, and to also increase the density of this knowledge sharing. This will help facilitate the exchange of successful practice, but also challenges, lesson learned, and also innovative models we can have. The second point will be also related to capacity building. The idea is to enhance the skills of the actors, but this could be also related to the skills to other stakeholders. And I'm thinking directly to public authorities that could sometimes have very difficulties to understand what is social innovation. And that's actually the biggest challenge, to convince the utility of social innovation for the public good. This capacity building is also important to be targeted to not just actors, local actors, but also to other stakeholders, like from the private sector, or it could be also public authorities and so on. A third value added, according to me, would be linked to the advocacy and policy influence that the network could have to amplify the voice of CLSI practitioner. And this will help enabling more effective advocacy for supportive policies, because having also a supportive policy environment is something that will help also this kind of project to be created and also grow. And lastly, the value added of the network is related to resource mobilization and mutualization by connecting different stakeholders with also potential funders or investor. The network could help strengthen the financial support for the CLSI initiatives, having in mind this long-term goal. And moving forward, of course, this could be interesting to open the network to people who are in the process of preparing a new project, so they can learn from people who already did, and they can draw on the experience of network members and also avoid repeating the common mistake. And lastly, of course, we talk a lot about the issue of measurement. And having also a measurement of the impact of the network itself could be something that could be interesting in order also to ensure accountability and continuous improvement. So we can also apply the rules we are trying to give to the member of the network.
Thank you, Bruno. Yes, indeed, to lead by example and to measure our own impact. Okay, a lot of utilities that would potentially have to. Gorka, would you add anything, disagreed on anything that Bruno said?
Yeah, totally. No, I don't want to repeat, so I very much agree with Bruno's point. I think the real importance of this network and this work is really at the core of what most of the interventions are failing at the moment, the socioeconomic transformation interventions. That is basically on how to connect these interventions and the technology and the evidence with local communities. This is what is happening in most of the initiatives at the moment that has to do with the socio-ecology. Transition, for example, is so we have the evidence, we have the technology, but communities are not adopting this, most of these technologies and knowledge. So there is a disconnection between what is happening at the local level and a lot of the knowledge that we have. So we had a conversation recently with the Barcelona Supercomputing Center, where they were presenting themselves as the knowledge frontier, saying like the supercomputing capability was the frontier of knowledge at the moment because it was the most advanced thinking. And we basically told them that we disagree totally that they were the frontier of the knowledge. In our opinion, the frontier of knowledge is basically at the local level. It really is the work that these initiatives and these organizations are doing, because it is connecting that technology with community needs and with social dynamics. This is the most difficult space, and this is the area where these organizations and these activities and this network is operating. So, but normally I think we don't position this work in the right way. So thank you for the work, and I think let's try to really position that work in the right place. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Gorka, for bringing up technology, a key priority, as something that will have a very impact on social transformation and the need for this reconciliation with social impact. So the last word for this panel, then before we wrap up, goes to you, Michelle, in case you want to add something.
Thanks, really a lot, because I review speakers, and namely with Bruno de Mena, when he insisted on the importance to create a voice for CLSI and to influence the policy making, and it's very much in line with what we want to do with ELIF and the very existence of AEIDL in itself it's about this, to disseminate and strengthen innovation at local level and social innovation in particular, and to be a voice at European level institutions in order to facilitate the life of people at local level.
Thank you, Michelle. Yes, this is indeed what we are trying, and we are hoping that we will go there. Thank you again, Bruno, Gorka, Michelle, for all the work behind, even if you have just some minutes to speak up. You've been really behind it, and also analyzing all the projects and supporting us kindly with the preparation. So now we need to move to the concluding words. I was asking you to go to the Slido chat that we were to the Slido link, sorry, that we were sharing with you. So very quickly, I want to see what were the main comments, the main results here. What would be the most useful functions for this CLSI? Ranking for this facilitation of peer learning and sharing inspiring practices. So I hope that this means that that you found that this concrete event today was useful. Maybe less inviting expert for thematic exchange. Some of you voted for that. Peer learning eventually has a strong power. The local communities are also the experts on what they are doing. So somehow this perhaps is also over there, and several of you vote for raising awareness, advocating of the value that echoes, I think, well, what also our panelists, Bruno, Michelle, were saying. a bit more on other suggestions, I will go quickly. But I think that for a future event, you would like to break perhaps in working groups so that go deeper into practical examples, to work on some methodologies that have been applied in other projects, for sure very useful, and for this transferability. And some of you mentioned that the three functions that we were proposing before were equally important, but perhaps advocating a data bank of social innovation. There are some, as Armelle said, for instance, with the social innovation match, but perhaps not a comprehensive one. So maybe we started with these inspiring examples where we will see to elaborate more. And any proposals, the last part for concrete topics, since today was a wider event. Ideas on focusing on impact evaluation, mentioned several times, understanding the benefit from the system, public bodies, funding, etc., how to address these conflict resolutions. There are several of you were saying face-to-face event, in-person event, meeting in person. We'll see the possibility of doing that, even if we include some sport as part of the coffee break this time to combine the physical format. We hear you. We see to take this into account. And but now I'm going to give the floor to my colleague Armelle for the very last word on this.
Thank you. I think I will be very brief. It has been a long session. We were all very glad to have you here this morning. Thanks a lot for the contributions to all the projects, but more importantly for what you're doing on the ground. We give you a rendezvous very soon for the follow-up, and I can only again invite you to come back to us, because this is really a network that, okay, we kicked off the network and we started, but it's an own resource project. So we don't have any external funding as well. It's for us all. It's also an innovation, and we're building a community, not local, but we're building a community. So we count on you for your proposals, for your suggestions. It's really co-creation, we promise. We're really listening to you. It doesn't mean we can do everything you will propose, of course, but let's discuss about it next year. So that's a kind of Christmas present. The CLSI network is born today, and we hope it will grow up and be very efficient in improving people's life at local and every level. Thank you so much to everybody.
Thank you, Armelle, and perhaps for those who wish to be in a family picture, I know that my colleagues in communication would like that. So if you want, if you wish, we invite you to put your camera on, and we will be sharing in social media about this. And as we said, we will be in touch via email with all the participants. So Julian, you tell us when we have to say cheese.
Yes. So thank you so much, Armelle and Patricia. I will ask now. I will do like a kind of a countdown of 3, so you can put the best of your smiles. So yeah, let's go. So 3, 2, 1. There you go. Thank you so much. Also in the chat, you have all the social media accounts that we have, so you could see this post like in a few minutes. We also have been doing live tweeting in Twitter, so if you want to go to check, you have the access and everything. And thank you so much again.
Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the day. We'll be in touch, and wish you already a nice end of the year and a prosperous 2025. Perhaps early, but okay, we are already going there. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.